Aston Villa are coming off the back of their most successful season, I think, since I've been alive, so that's 41 years. They did have a good season about 44, 45 years ago, but for most of us, this has been the best season in living memory. Finishing in the top 4, qualifying for the Champions League, and of course, winning the Europa League. I'm still on a high, to be honest. But along the way, we also managed to score the most ridiculous set of goals that any of us have ever seen from a Villa team, or possibly any team. Week after week, it was banger after banger, screamer after screamer, incredible goals flying in the top corner. But which one was the best? Maybe not the best. Which one was your favourite goal? Now, I'm not about to get my account banned by showing copyrighted Premier League material, so you're going to have to use your imagination for this one. But to be honest, these goals should be burned into your cerebral cortex. Now, the first goal of the season, in fact, it might have been our first goal of the season, was Matty Cash at the Stadium of Light. Now, this felt like one of those goals where he was like, oh, I can't take this anymore. I'm just going to hit one. And he did. He smashed it, and a great amount of swaz on it. A brilliant goal from Matty Cash. Then there was Emi Buendia's goal away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Cash was involved again. That amazing sliced chop, karate kick, swerving pass. Then Lucadinha brings the ball down out of the sky beautifully, passes it off to Buendia, who drifts across the edge of the box and then looks round the corner and curls it into the bottom corner. Of all of the goals we've scored this season, that is one that I've watched again and again and again from every possible angle. A brilliant goal. Chef's kiss. Then Buendia again, a brilliant knuckleball free kick in front of the Holt end against Bournemouth. Morgan Rogers, I think a few days later, pretty much said when he stepped up to take his free kick at Ellen Road, he thought, oh yeah, I saw what Buendia did the other day, I'll have a go at that. And he perfectly replicated it. Another amazing knuckleball free kick where the goalie could just go, whoa. Then we've got Rogers again at the London Stadium, a topsy-turvy game against West Ham, and Rogers drives through midfield, pops it in the top corner. Brilliant goal. And then, maybe not goal of the season, but definitely a moment of the season, if not the moment of the season. Emi Buendia's last minute winner at Villa Park against Arsenal. Now, Villa are playing against the best team in the league, a team that's been dominating everyone, and Villa went toe to toe with them. And what I loved about this goal was not just the goal, but the few minutes before the goal, when Ian Matson was like shouting at the ball boys to give him the ball. Now, traditionally, Villa would have been pleased with a 1-1 draw against the league leaders, but they weren't satisfied. Their view was, let's go and win it. And that's what they did. A scramble in the box. Emi Buendia ends up on his backside, and a few seconds later, he's back up, the ball comes to him, and he has the presence of mind, not just to lash at it, but to lift it into the roof of the goal, to send Villa Park absolutely crazy. It's one of the biggest releases of emotions I can ever remember. I was standing on the Holt end, and it was pure limbs. Everybody lost their mind. It was just a beautiful moment. I was nearly in tears. And after that game, an old guy came up to me and put his arm round me, and he said he'd seen us in the 70s in the 3rd division, he'd seen us win the league and the European Cup, and he said this is his favourite ever time to be a Villa fan under Unai Emery. It was a brilliant day and a brilliant moment. But back to the bangers. Boubacar Kamara scored an incredibly slow banger to beat Wolves 1-0, and then Morgan Rogers against Man United. Not just Man United, but the curse of Man United. No matter how bad they are, we never seem to be able to beat them. But Rogers didn't care. He was so full of confidence, picking the ball up on the left-hand flank and cutting inside before curling in a shot into the top corner. Absolutely magnificent goal. A goal that actually reminds me of one that Harry Kane scored a few years ago for Spurs against Arsenal. Just pure confidence. Rodgers was on top of his game that day and scored another great goal to win the game 2-0. I'm sure there's a few that I'm missing. You can let me know in the comments. But another one of my favourites is the semi-final against Nottingham Forest. The third goal. Who's that coming over the hill? It's John McGinn. Head down, backside out, charging forward. He may as well have been wearing a superhero cape. And when the ball came to his feet, you knew exactly what he was going to do. Pass it into that corner without breaking a stride. It was amazing. Just a brilliant moment. We knew then we were going to Istanbul. And then McGinn again a few days later against Liverpool, getting his eye in and then lifting the ball into the top corner. That might actually be my favourite. Just pure McGinn. And then we get to the final in Istanbul, an Austin McPhee special. Everybody had their role. There were players blocking off, players creating a diversion, and there was Youri Tielemans on the edge of the box. Apparently Villa had been practicing it all week, but the whole thing really hinged on the pass from Morgan Rogers and the technique of Youri Tielemans. Who could doubt Youri's technique? He smashed the ball past the keeper before he could even realise what was going on. A goal that I've watched many times, and I think as long as I live, I will watch that goal on repeat many, many times. And then we come to our final goal of the season, and perhaps the best. Emi Buendía from Argentina. He's 5'7", he's football heaven, and when he got that ball on the edge of the box, every Villa fan in that stadium knew what he was going to do. Beautifully curl the shot outside the post and then inside the post. And at that moment, I think we all knew that we just won the Europa League. And what had we won it with? 2 absolute bangers. Is there any other way? So that is a ridiculous amount of goals to choose from. And the fact that we've got so many goal of the season contenders and moment of the season contenders shows us what a remarkable season this has been. One to treasure forever. So is your favourite on the list? Is there one that I've forgotten? Let me know. We don't want the best, we just want your favourite. Oh, and if you like this kind of Villa content, give me a subscribe, drop me a comment, share me with your most influential friends. Alright, have a good one. Up the Villa.